start again. It's a redskin.
We have already completed all the operators in Python. In this session, we are going to learn input-output statement in Python. So let's start with input statement. If you want to take input from user, then you need to use the inbuilt function input. And then within parentheses, you can pass the message. For example, if you want to take the age of a user, then you can pass enter your age. Now after seeing this message, user is going to enter the age. So we need to store this age in a variable. So let me declare a variable like age equals to, and then you can write this input enter your age, and then let me print the age like this. Your age is, and then we need to pass the variable that is age like this. And now if I run the code, so enter your age. So let me enter the age 28, and this is our output. Your age is 28. Now note some important point about this input function. In this case, user is going to enter a age, and age is an integer number. But if you print the type of age, then you will find it as the string value. For example, here we have age, and if I write print and then type of age, then you will find it as the string value like this. So here I am passing 28, and now note that this age is nothing but a string value, and this is true for all the values. For example, let me run this code. Okay, so here I am passing a float value like 40.5, then also it is going to take it as the string value. Not only that, if I pass a list, then also it is going to take it as a string value. For example, let me pass a list like this 1, 2, 3, then also it is going to take it as the string value like this. So the main point is input function takes all the value as a string, but if you need to take the value as an integer or any other form, then what will be the solution? If you want to take this value in integer format or float format, then you need to use typecasting. So here we need to write int. If you want to take this value as an integer, then you need to use int, and then within parentheses you need to pass this whole total thing. Okay, and let me run this code. So if I pass 25, then it is going to take it as the integer value like this. Similarly, if you want to take it as a float value, then you can write here float, and then within parentheses you can pass this total thing that is input, and then you can use this message. So let me run it. So here if I pass 20.5, then it is going to take it as the float. Now every time maintaining this type of input value is quite irritating. So instead of all this thing, you can use eval function in all the case. This function is more intelligent than other typecasting functions. If you pass an integer value, then this function will automatically convert it into integer type, or if you pass a float value, then it will convert it into float data type. And also if you pass a list, then also it will evaluate it into list. So let me do it practically. So if I pass eval instead of int or float anything like this, and now let me run this code. Okay, so let me pass a 20, that is an integer value. So note that it is showing it is an integer value. So let me run it again like this. So yeah, now let me pass a float value like 60.5. So note that it is showing a float data type, but note that here I am not using this float function. Instead of that, I am using eval function in all the case. So let me run it again, and now I'm going to pass a list like this 1, 2, 3, and then let me press enter. So note that it is showing list. Not only that, you can also pass a tuple like, so let me pass a tuple 1, 2, 3. So it is showing tuple. So eval is the intelligent function, and you can use it in all the case. Now my question is, can you take inputs without using this inbuilt function, inbuilt input function or not? So the answer is yes. By using the concept of command line arguments, we can take inputs. But before jumping into that topic, let me explain something. Do you know we can run a Python file from CMD or command prompt also? So usually what we do is we first create a new file like this, and then we save it. So let me first select the folder. So I'm going to save it in D drive like this, and there is source code and then Python code. So here I'm going to store the Python file. So let me name it example.py and then save it, and then we can write the code like hello world. So like this way. So if you want to run this code in this ideally, then you need to click on run and then run module, or you can also press F5 from your keyboard and then press OK. So this is our output, but we can do the same thing in CMD also. To do that, we need to first open CMD like this, and now currently we are in C drive, but we need to go to the D drive because our Python file is saved in D drive. So here you need to write D and then colon. So now we are in D drive, and now we need to go to the location where our Python file is saved. So note that this is the location where our Python file is saved. So first of all we need to go to the source code and then Python codes. Okay, so here we need to write cd. Cd is the command to change directory. So first of all we need to go source code like this, source code. So now we are in source code, then we need to go to the Python codes. So let me write cd. So now we are in the location where our Python file is saved. Now to execute it, we need to write py, and then we need to pass the file name, that is example.py. So here note that this is our output, that is hello world. Now after let me just copy it. So after writing the file name, we can pass the inputs also. For example, if I pass 50, 60 and hello, so this is nothing but the command line arguments. Okay, this is the inputs. Now the question is how we can access these inputs in our program. After executing this line, a list with name argv will be created where we have all the inputs, but the first element of that list is nothing but the file name itself, that is example. But to use this list in our program, we need to import the sys module, and also we can access this element by using indexing concept. So let me do it practically. So to use the command line arguments, we need to first import the sys module like this, and then we can print the list. Okay, so let me first print the list. To do that, we need to write sys.argv, that is the list name. And also you can access the elements by indexing concept. For example, you can access the first element by writing sys.argv, and then within square bracket you can pass 0. So this is the first element, and similarly we can also access the other elements like this. So let me copy it. So this is the second element, this is the third element, and this is the fourth element. So now let me save it. Okay, and now coming to the command prompt. So let me execute this example.py with these values, with these input values, that are 50, 60 and hello. So let me press enter. So here note that this is the list with name argv, that is like this. Example.py is the first element, then 50, 60 and hello, and note that all the elements are considered as string value. Okay, so this is our first value, this is our second value. You can also access these elements by this indexing concept like this. So this is all about input statements, and in our next video we will learn about output statements.